series where we shall be discussing things around the Power Platform, essentially the Power Apps, Power BI, Virtual Agent, and Power Automate. And this is a series which started last week. This phase of it started last week, where we began our conversation around introduction to Power Platform, and also we went into the starting process of building the leave request application. So I want to assume that for some of us that we were on the call last week, we will still remember where we got to. And for those of us who missed last week's session, hopefully we would be able to catch up with the replay link, which was posted on YouTube, I suppose, and it was sent to us via email. So in order not to take more of the time, so we are about 7 minutes behind schedule already. So we'll go straight into what we'll be doing today, and that is basically a continuation of the app, which we started last week. So we're able to build some screens for the app. We configured what the data source would be, and it is on from there that we are going to pick up today. So by the way, my name is Mohsen Hamid, and I'll be our host for today, and I warmly welcome our leaders, David Abu, Babatunde, Emeka, and a host of other persons, and those of us that we are here to participate in this business series. We so much appreciate our effort, and to appreciate even more is the facilitator who has put forth his time so that we can learn from his wealth of knowledge and experience, Ibrahim Idowu. So we so much appreciate you for your time and what you are giving to the community. So thanks so much for this opportunity. So it is on this note that I'm going to hand over to Ibrahim. So while Ibrahim is coming on to take over, please, should we have any question during the course of the conversation, let's endeavor to put those on the chat. We are assured that we are going to take our time to answer those questions to the best of our capability and as time permits. So, Ibrahim, are you there? Good evening.
All right, Mohsen, thank you for the warm welcome. Without further ado, so as not to all protocols are observed, right? So let me speak the balance of the normal gathering. So I wouldn't want to talk too much. I just want us to go straight to business. Now, last week, we actually introduced us to Power Platform, basically the Power Apps, where we actually looked at the environment and talked about the functionality within the studio. So we took the leave request as a case study, and we're supposed to, design this from start to end. And last week we were able to build the request form. And as we see, we started from creating a list, right? With the leave list, of course, like I told us last week, the list has been isolated from the SharePoint environment, and you can create it outside the SharePoint environment, which we can see. And this was the list that we created here, right? And right after creating the list, we automatically generated an app, which we actually saw. That was like a quick win to creating an application. But as it were, because on most occasions, you have to create your application from blank. So we also started from blank, and then we're able to create 3 different screens. And like I said, to those of us that are new, just look at these Power Apps like as though you're creating a PowerPoint slide where you have to create slides, for each different slide that you talk about. And you also write expressions just like you have in Excel, where you have a formula bar, and you are able to write some functions and the like. So take it from that angle and look at the ribbon here, of course, at the top, which is very, very similar to what we have in Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, and the likes. And whatever thing you need to do, they are not out of this ribbon that you insert that. So we created 3 screens and we renamed them accordingly. And I also say that it is very, very important that whenever you are creating screens, you have to name them appropriately. And the reason is because whenever you want to reference any of those screens, it will be easy for you to reference. Imagine you have screen 1, screen 2, screen 3, right? And you want to reference any of them. It might be difficult for you to easily identify any one of them. So we actually created the welcome screen. So this welcome screen is supposed to be the landing page that a user sees, when the person is actually is initiating or using the application. We also created a new request screen where you enter the details of your request. And finally, we created a success screen, which is where the screen that you navigate to upon successfully submitting your leave request application. Now, without much ado, we're able to create the request form, and then there's a submit button that allows us to be able to submit, okay? And we already tied a function to the submit button, which is what? Submit form. You see new LR form. I also said that whenever you are also adding forms, ensure that you rename them appropriately so that you can also be able to access them. So right now we can submit, and okay, let me just fill this and we'll see. We can actually submit. Let me say this end date. End date is 11. Okay. Type of leave is vacation supervisor. Let me say test user. Can actually select the test user, and the purpose is to travel. So I can say to travel. Okay. So I'll submit this. So I submit. Okay. So this was the point that we actually stopped yesterday.
Hello, Ibrahim. Can anybody still hear Ibrahim? Sorry, just to confirm this. Okay.
Hello. Sorry, I think I had a network glitch there, but sorry for that. I'll just continue. Okay. Just confirm that you can see my screen, please.
Yes, I can.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. All right. So now that we have been able, we can submit our form, right? So what we now need to do is to create another screen. So that is the essence of that screen, is to be able to, for my supervisor to be able to see all pending requests and be able to approve, right, as necessary. So I'll just go to new screen. Okay. Now you can see there are different types of screen here, but I'll just go with blank one, right? So I'll add the screen and I'll rename it immediately. I'll call this supervisor. I'll rename this as supervisor. Let me say approval screen, or okay, let me just say pending. So because what I want to see is I want to be able to see pending requests. So one thing that I will do is I want to copy this header, right? This is where components comes in, right? You can also make use of components that allows you to just automatically have all of this. So what I will say is I'll request pending approval, okay? Or let me say pending supervisor. Right, so I'll do this. So next thing that I will do is to insert a gallery. Now, the essence of a gallery is for you to be able to pull, to pull data from your data source, and our data source here is what? Our list. So I will go ahead to insert a gallery. Yeah, so I'll choose the blank one. Okay. So having done that, I will select my leave request, right? So I will adjust this. I'll just position this well, and yeah. So I'll position it well. So I prefer to leave it this way because later I might need to add something at the top here. Okay, so I'll just position it this way. Then I'll give it a border of 1. Okay, just give it a border of 1. Okay. So yeah, cool. Now, when I select this gallery, okay, I also need to rename it. It's very important. So pending gallery, pending approval. Now, just note this naming convention. You see that before the pending, there's a gal there. So the essence of it is that if I need to reference anywhere there's gallery, what I just need to type first is gal. Then it brings me everything all the things that are galleries, right? So note that naming convention. If it's a label, you can use TST, right? If it's another control, depending on the type of how do I put it? The type of control you're trying to use, is important that you start it with the name, with the initial of that control. Now, I haven't done that. When I select this gallery, observe that there's a pencil at the top left. That's actually the template. Okay, this is actually a template here, and you see that it's quite big, so I'll adjust it so that it takes a small space. Okay, in fact, I can give it a fixed height of okay, 55 is okay, right? Now within these templates, I want to start populating it with fields from my list. So what I need to just do is we go to insert and insert a label. Okay, so I insert a label. Now note that the moment I inserted it, what happened? It picked the request ID automatically, right? It picked the request ID. That's this item.request ID. Now I will insert another one, and that one picked my name automatically. Okay, I mean the requester's name by default. When I insert another one, it picks the start date. Okay, I will insert another one. Then it should pick end date. This picked end date. Let me insert another one, and that actually picked purpose. But I wouldn't want to use purpose here because the purpose might be long and we don't have enough space here. So let me see if there's any other thing I can use. So I just do this item dots, then I will look for any other this thing that I want to use. So let's see. Well, I can just put it as status. I can just leave my status here. Okay. So this is pending supervisor. So let me put it at, I'll put the width as 300. Yeah, okay. So all these are pending supervisor. And within the template, I will insert an icon. Yes, I will insert an icon. Let me see which type of icon do I want to put. Okay, let me insert any one, but I can actually change it. Okay, so let me change it to maybe like an eye. Let me say view. Okay, let's put it as view because I actually want to view the request. So what I would do, I want to pad it so that yeah, I can so that it's smaller. Okay. Okay, now it's cool. Yeah, this is smaller. You can actually use any icon. It's your decision. Okay. So I haven't done this. I can preview it and see. Right. Okay, that's fine. So one other thing I need to add, if you look at this gallery now, anybody who is coming here would not know what this field represents, like this first column, the second one, right? So it's important or it's necessary that we have to put the field name at the top here, okay? So how do I do that? I can insert a label, right? I'll put a label here, and I would, what is this? This one is request ID, so I'll make this request ID. Okay, then I'll give it a background color, fill. So let me give it this. Let's give it this, okay? Then that means we have to make the label white. Make the label white. Is it fine this way? The field appears too thick, so I'll change it. And then I'll make the label, I'll make it the thick blue. Okay, I think this is better than semi-bold. Okay, this is better. So I can duplicate this. I'll duplicate this. So what's this one? This one is full name. So I'll put this as full name. I'll also duplicate this. Control V, Control C. So I'll put it here. This one is start date. Okay, I'll put this as start date. Okay, I can duplicate this. Obviously, this is end date, so I'll just change this to end date. Right? I'll duplicate this again. Okay, so this one is status, obviously. Okay, so I'm gonna check this to status. So we now need to what to ensure that all of these are actually aligned. So what I would do is I'll take this down here. Okay, this also should start somewhere here. So all these are actually aesthetics, right? They're not functionality. They are aesthetics, but then they are important for your application to look visually appealing, right? So you need to ensure that. So I need to increase the width of this. Okay, let me see. Okay, let me put it at 200. Now, so when you are creating a visually appealing application, one of the things that you have to do is you need to work with this position, X, Y, width, and height. Okay. So for instance, this is my request ID. I need to check the Y coordinate, which is 106. So all of that two must be on 106 coordinate. Okay. So let me copy the 106 and I will ensure that this one, okay, this one's 106. This is 106. This is 106. and this is 106. So their y coordinates are fine. So I just need to ensure that all these have widths that are joined to the other one. So I'll say, so there's also another way to join this, right? So let me show us something, right? So what I can do, I'll copy the name of this label, right? So I will make sure that this full name starts from where the first one stops. Okay. So where does that one stop? Down. So I'll go to the y coordinate of this. All right. I'll now put label 7.x. Okay. Dot x plus label 7 dot width. So I don't know if so this is what I just did. Now, if you look at the label, this is label 7, the request ID. Okay.
Apologies, everybody. It seems
Width of
Ibrahim
so
is
that's
okay. Hi, Ibrahim.
okay, sorry. Okay, yeah, I'm with you. Sorry for that.
Okay, so please
Okay,
you
so
could take
are we
again the label 7.x plus the width. That's where we lost your voice.
okay? Okay, all right. Sorry for that. Sorry for that. Okay, so what I did here, so I said for request ID, we have already placed our request ID, which is fine. But for us to also now put the full name to be closely to start from where this request ID stopped. So what I did was to copy, okay, someone is trying to join. Let me add the person. Okay. So what I did was to copy the name of this label. I can actually rename it to say LBL, which is label, then request ID. Okay. I think is better that way. So this label LBL, look at what I did. And I said LBLID.x, which is the x coordinate of this label, plus the width of this particular label. So that means the x of this full name is starting from here. Now watch for LBL full name. LBL full name, right? I want this start date. Okay, now I need to increase the width of this guy. So this one must go close to that. Okay, it's almost there. Let's make it 240. Okay, that's fine. Now this start date, for it to start where the full name stop, we'll just go to the x coordinate. So I'll say this dot x plus this dot width. Right? So it's starting from where that stopped. So for start date, I can also rename it to LBL start date. Okay, I can copy this. So okay, I need to increase the width of this to, let's say, 220. Okay, I think the 220 is a bit much. So for the end date, I'll go to the x and say start date dot x plus start date dot width. Okay, awesome. So we can rename this to LBL and date. Okay, well, let's increase this to like 180. Okay, perfect. So status, we can go to x and put this dot x plus dot width. Okay, perfect. So we can increase the width of this guy. So let's say 300. No, okay, 400. Okay, that's fine. So let's preview it. So you can see it. So we have, now watch this. If I move this particular one, for instance, you see all of them, it will move others. Okay, if I move it, it will move others. So that's the beauty of the distance that we just did, right? So it moves others. Now, having done this, the next thing for us to do is to now say, whenever I click on this view, whenever I click on this eye, it should show me the details of this process. Okay, so what do I do? Now I have a leave request. This is the same form that I want to see. So I'm not sure there's any point recreating the screen. What I will just do is to duplicate this particular screen. Okay, so I'll duplicate this screen and call it leave details screen. So it's trying to show up. Okay, it's trying to show up. Just hold on a second. I need to send the link to someone. Okay. Okay, now this screen has been duplicated, so we need to rename it ASAP. So we'll just call it leave details screen. Now, because this is what shows the supervisor the details of this. Now, one thing that we also need to do is to change the mode from new to what to edit. Okay, so you would see the difference between new and edit is that, like the name implies, new is that you want to create a new request, while edit means that there is an existing record that you want to preview. Okay, that's the essence. Now, somebody would ask, why are we not using new? Why are we not using view? Because view gives us read only. Now, we're not using view because we're still going to add some controls here that will be in edit format. So that was why we didn't do that. So I've also renamed this form. I'll call it supervisor approval form. Okay, it's important that we do that. So I'll also rename this header. This header will be leave requests pending, or leave request details. We can call it, whatever we feel like, right? So we'll call it this. Yes, I haven't done this. Let's go back and go back to the supervisor screen. Now, when on select of this eye, what I would do is I would say navigate to where? To the leave details screen, which is this. So I'll close this. Okay, so let's try that. Let's give it a shot. I click on this, it brings me here. Okay, now the reason why this is showing this, like I said earlier, is straight, is because we need to, okay, let me check this action here on visible. Okay, there's nothing on visible, but what I will just do is change this from new, change this and put it back to edit. Okay, then there's something I'm supposed to specify. On this, I have to go to the item property of this this particular form. So I will say guard, which is my gallery. Okay, guard pending approval dot selected. So what this is saying is that whatever I've selected in my gallery, the details should be shown here. Whatever I've selected in my gallery, the details should be shown here. I guess that's straightforward, right? Now let's go back. Now you would see that I want to go back to that screen. I'm shuttling between these. I think it's necessary that we insert an icon here. So let's just put an icon here that takes us back. Okay, so I'll just take this up here. Let me pad it. So like I said, the properties here are always very important if you want to build an application that is aesthetically okay, right? So I'll take this one up here. Let me give it 54. Then I'll give it color white. Let it be color white, right? So it's not plus we need. What we need is a back button. Okay. So what this back will do is on select of this back, you should just take me back. So there's a back function, all right? Okay, so let me just go back to where I was coming from. Okay, this is where I was coming from. So when I select this, it shows the details. I'll go back. When I select the last one, it shows these details. I can go back. Okay, so let me select this first one. Now, what we need to do at this point, now that it's showing all our details, I can now start changing all of this to read only. Okay, and that's how do we do that? Is by setting the display mode. So display mode of this, I'll go here, display mode, and I'll break. Now, you would see that this is actually locked. I can't change the property here. What I need to do is to go to unlock this, right? Then I'll change this to display mode dot what? Dot view. There are three types of display mode. There's view, there's edit, there's disabled. The one we're using here is what? Display mode dot view. Okay. Display mode dot view, right? You can see view, disabled, edit, right? So I'll also do the same for this control. I will unlock it, go to the display mode, okay, display mode dot view, right? For leaf type, also the same. So the reason why we have to make this read only is that we don't want the supervisor to be able to tamper it. Yes, we're not saying the supervisor will want to intentionally tamper it, but it can happen. You have to be able to control it. Else, as a developer, you need to think outside of the box. you don't give chance to, you know, something like that, right? So we'll disable all of these. The purpose to will be disabled. So let me just, I want this purpose to take this full screen. So I'll disable this too. Disable mode, I will unlock it. Can go like this, right? Yes, so we have our display mode in this way. Our leave request is showing the ID, but it's disabled. So I want it to be view instead of disabled. We don't want it to be disabled here. Okay, so perfect. Now it's showing the details of this leave request. Now we want to add our supervisor approval. We want to add our supervisor approval. So we need to go back to our list and see, did we make provision for that? No, we didn't do that. So we might need to add another column that we'll call supervisor approval. Supervisor approval. Okay. Single line of text, drop down. What do we make it? Yeah, what do we make it? 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 Okay, let's make it single line of text. I think I prefer that. Then I'll show you how we can make that work, right? Another thing we need to also do is to create a column called supervisor approval date time. Or yeah, we need to, or let me call it, let me say supervisor comment. I think the comment is necessary. So let's flow with this. Let's flow with these two columns. So what I will do, I'll go back to my app. I need to refresh my data source because I just added new columns. Okay. Because I just added new columns, I need to refresh my data source. Now I'll click on this form and go back to the field here. I will edit it. You see that you can't find them here. What you just do is add field, then you look for supervisor. So these are the two columns: supervisor approval, supervisor comment. I'll add them. Now with these two fields that we just added, I think I can reduce this a bit. Okay. So these two fields that we just added, this approval, it is where the supervisor will select, approve, or reject. Why this comment allows the supervisor to enter a comment. Now for this comment field, it's too small. So what I will do is to increase the height. I'll say 80. Okay. 80. So the comment has to be big so that the supervisor can have enough. Sorry, I think I need to admit someone. Okay, just do that. Okay, awesome. So now this is supposed to be a drop down, okay? But I didn't make it a drop down, but I'll change it to a drop down. Now, how do I do that? Within this, I'll go to insert and go to oh, that's a button. I'll go to drop down, okay? I will insert a drop down within this place. Now I want to delete this particular one, but before I delete it, I'll copy out the name, data card value 10. I'll copy out the name and delete this control. Now, I haven't deleted that. I will change the position of my drop down. It's usually 3049. 3049. Okay. So it will sit well. So I have to, that name that I copied, I have to rename this my drop down as this. So I'll paste it here. So you see that of the two errors, one has gone, right? The only one that is left, let's look closer at it, is what? Data card value 10.text. Because what was there before was a text box. That was why we had .text. Now there is a drop down. What will it be? .selected.value. .selected.what? .value. So we also need to adjust the width of this. I think that should be 539. Okay. Okay, so we can leave it like this. Let's preview it. So this is a drop down 1, 2, 3. We need to remove the numbers. So let's go back. I'll remove this sample and have this. So we have approve, okay, and we have reject, okay. Now hold on a second, let me see, somebody's trying to. Okay, so now that we've done approve rejects, now by default this should not there should be a blank space here. What we just do is to say we select this right, then we change the property to say that allow empty selection, which will be what? Which will be true. there should be empty selection by default. Okay. Okay, I haven't done that. We need to okay, let's preview this and look at this. Okay, so we want to approve. We can approve, right? And we can reject. We can approve and we can reject. We can approve and we can reject. Okay. Now, recall, let's go back and see. Let's go back. Now, there's a status that says pending supervisor approval. So when the supervisor approves, this status will change. When he approves or rejects, okay, this status is supposed to change. So what do? We need to now say, let's go back. So what I would do, so I would, I want to display my status field, right? Where's the status field? The status field. My status field, I want to change it. So my status field, I want to change. So what I want to do, you see that I coded it here. So what I want to do here is I want to put a condition here, okay, for my status field. And the condition is that I would say, if my supervisor drop down, okay, if my supervisor drop down dot selected dot value, okay, it's still trying to come. Okay, I think it's a bit, there's a delay here. Oh, that's a mistake. I think I copied the wrong this thing. It's supposed to be this one, data card value 10. So I'll go back to my supervisor. So if it's equal to what? If it's equals to approve, okay, then the status should be what? It should be completed. Else it should be supervisor rejected. Then I'll close this bracket. Right? If you get what I did here, this is my status card here. I'm setting it to say that if the approver is approved, right? So the status should be completed, but if it's rejected, it should be supervisor rejected. So let's give it a shot. Let's do this and see what happens. So let me see my submit. Is it properly configured? Yes. How about my on success of my form? Let's see what happens. So it navigates to the success screen, right? Okay, let's do this. So when I approve, okay, I'll say this is okay. We'll come back to this. This text is actually centered. We'll come back to this. So I'll submit. So successfully submit, right? So let me go back to my supervisor screen. So you would see this is actually completed. Okay. So let's reject this and see. Reject, okay, and can't fly. Let's say it can't fly. Okay. So I'll submit this. Successfully submitted. Then let me go back here. So you see supervisor rejected, right? So let's go back. There are some things that we still need to put in place, some checks. Now, if I want to reject, for instance, then this comment must be compulsory, because for you to reject, there must be a basis for that rejection, right? So it means that this comment must be compulsory at the point of rejecting it. So what do I do? What I will now do is to say that, okay, whenever this supervisor is rejecting, if he's rejecting, then this must be compulsory. How do we do that? I'll select this supervisor comment and go to required. Okay, let me make it unlock it, and I will say if oh my mouse is if, then I'll say if open brackets, if dot selected dot value, okay, is equal to reject, okay, then it should be compulsory, which is true. Then if else, false. See what we did? If it's equal to reject, then it should be true. I mean, it should be required, right? Else it should be false. So let's preview this and see. Now, if I approve, you will see that the asterisk is not there. If I reject the asterisk, let me submit. It says your supervisor comment is required, but if I approve, the text goes, right? If I reject, it shows the compulsory field. Okay. Now, I think we have tackled that. Secondly, is that when I type into this place, okay, when I type it, the text says at the center, and the reason is because it's a single line of text that we have increased the height. So we need to change it to what? Multi-line. So I'll change this to multi-line, and the text goes to the top. Okay, so we can reject, we can approve, as the case may be, right? It's not compulsory for this. So this is just the period is not granted, or let me say granted. Okay, so I'll just submit this. And this, let's go back. Yeah, right. Okay, let's look at this. So you will see the status has changed. Okay, now we need to now start configuring our navigation, right? This application works fine as it were, but we need to start linking all of our screens together so that I don't have to be shuttling between different screens. So for instance, from here, yes, fine, I can go back. From here, I can go back, right? Fine, I can go back. Now, but from here, there's no icon on this place. So I need to bring in an icon from anywhere. Let me see. I need to bring this icon. So I need to copy this icon and take it to my supervisor screen and paste it here. Now, what are the things we can have? Okay, let me put it here. We can change this to an home icon. Home icon in the sense that it takes us back to the home page. So let's say home. Okay, home. Then we can also have a refresh icon. So the essence of the refresh is to refresh our data source. Okay, so I'll call this reload. This is our reload. Now, what this does is what we say refresh is to refresh our data source. What's our data source again? Leave request. Why this is a bit slow? Okay, this is our data source. We'll close here. Okay, this home icon is to navigate us back to the home page. So I'll say navigate to our welcome screen. Okay, so this takes us to our welcome screen. Okay, so let's come here. Home. Unfortunately, our welcome screen has nothing, but let us start tidying our welcome screen too. What I will just do is I will insert a label and say, let me just draw it across the board. I'll call it leave request application. Okay, leave request application. I'll centralize this. Okay, central. Increase the font to 24. Then bolding this. All right, I'll give the background color. What do we give it? Yeah, let's give it something like this. And I'm going to give it this thick blue. Right? Okay, this is cool. Then I will start buttons. I'm going to insert buttons. Yeah, I'll put one button here. I'll put another button here. Okay. Okay, so I'll say new request. Okay. If I'm making a new request, this is where you click on. Why this one will be for what? Oh, what I did was, what did I do? It didn't change. Wow. Okay, new request. Okay, this will be supervisor login. Let's put it that way. Supervisor login. Okay, so we can increase the weight of this to like 300. Why this one will also be 300. Okay, the height can be like 60. Why this will also be 62. Then let's give them a radius. So I'm always particular about user experience. So sorry that I have to do all of this. I think it's critical to you having a well-looking application. Okay. Now I haven't done this. Upon new request, when I click on a new request, what do I want? I want a new form. Okay, a new form. Open bracket. What's the name of the form? New LR form. You see what I was saying earlier? That's why you need to give your form a very reasonable name. Okay, then I want to navigate also. I want to navigate to I want to navigate to where? To navigate to new leave request form. So I'll close this. Okay. Now, where does this take us to on click? This one navigates, right? It navigates us to where? To our supervisor screen. Yeah, so it takes us to this place. So I'll close this. So let's preview this. Okay, new request. It takes us to this place. Unfortunately, this doesn't have an icon to take us back. So what do? we need to bring in our icon here too. So I'll just copy one of the existing icons. Okay. So let me go back. New request. We want to have an icon here. Yeah. So we have an icon. Where does it take us to back? Yeah. Let's give that a shot. It takes us back. New request takes us back. Supervisor login. Yeah. Okay. Am I able to go home? Yes. Click on this. Yeah. Okay. Supervisor and approve. Yeah. Do this. Okay. So I can go back. Right. I can preview this also. Approve. So this is actually still retaining. That's strange. This is retaining what we had here earlier. So we need to check why. Parent.default. Yeah. So why is it retaining it? So we have to just figure that. We'll figure that out. Okay. Yeah. So I think that, yeah, you agree with me that we have a fully functioning application, even though there are still some things to tidy. Okay. But so far, our application, it works, and we can. I think the last thing, okay, now, yeah, we still have some things to tidy. Okay. For instance, is for this one, for instance, because I've completed it, I should not be, I should not be seen. Then this one is not showing because it's not showing what the approval, because we didn't set the default. So we need to set the default. Tell them to come. So we need to set the default to this. We need to set it to parent.default. So we need to set it to parent.default. So it shows this, okay? So that works. So I think that we'll stop at this point for us to take questions, comments, and observations. So next week, we're going to continue on how to tidy. There are some things that we are still seeing here. So for instance, this is completed. When I'm previewing it, I shouldn't be seeing submit again, okay? And some other things that we need to tidy, okay? So, but let me stop here. Let's take questions and comments. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Ibrahim, for the knowledge field session. Yeah, it's been like we are loaded already. So many things have come to pass in just the space of an hour or less than an hour. So thanks so much for what we have done today, leveraging on what we did last week and making things come into better shape. So I think Molaso Kamia mentioned that he has a question. Hopefully we can start with him. Please, any other person who has a question we can signify. Let's put up our hands so we know that we have a question and we can quickly rush through those. Hello, Olasukami, are you there?
Hello, good evening.
Evening. Please go on. You have a question?
Okay, sorry, this is my first time.
Okay, great.
I think I missed last week, and initially when I was trying to log in, I was told I can't do this on a private, on a personal account. Do I need a business account to be able to probably practice all of these skills?
Okay, that's a question gotten. Ibrahim, would you want to answer that straight up?
Okay, yeah, so it depends. Do you currently have an Office 365 account?
Yes, I do. I'll be trying to set one up.
Oh, okay.
I'll be trying to set one up, but each time I give my phone number, that's where it stops. No.
Okay.
No
so
feedback.
I think
no
the
message.
question what I actually mean is so if you have a, do you work on, let me see, how do I put it best? Okay, do you have an if you have a company that uses Office 365, your email address is on Exchange, when automatically you have access to this. But if you don't work in a company that has, it's simple for you. You just go online and create a developer account on Microsoft site. So there's a link to that we can actually share with you. So you'll be able to create an account that gives you an E5 license for free for 1 year. So, and I think that suffices for your learning. Yeah.
Yes. I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Right.
I will see if I can get the link while we're here.
All right.
Okay. So in the meantime, Yusuf, your hand is up. Can we have you speak?
Okay. Thank you very much. Hamid. Thank you very much, Ibrahim. So basically, my question is, first, this is my first time, so I don't know how you can make the last class recordings available to us. Then secondly, the application we just built now. So I'm just thinking, would it not be nice if we had the time as per the various activities? For instance, when I made the submission and when the supervisor actually approved it, for record purpose.
Okay, that's an awesome one. Yeah. It's are you a developer or a project manager, or do you work out of IT?
Not at all, no. But that's process based on what you've just done now. So I'm just
awesome.
around.
Awesome. Because that's very, very important. Because if for audit purposes, it's good that you always take timestamp. Now, the beauty of the data source we are using is that it automatically adds some date column for us, and one of them is created and modified date. In fact, let me show modified by and modified. So I'll show us this. Okay. Now you will see that this particular record was created October 30th, right? This one was created 41 minutes ago, and this is modified. Okay. So although this modified suffices for when the supervisor approved, and this created suffices for when this request was made. But of course, you can always create your own column that captures the date and time that any action was taken. I think that's a nice one. Yeah. If you really, you must always take note of that, because your management might want to see some analytics in terms of how the process is faring. So it's a nice one. Yeah. But does my answer answer your question?
Yes. I'm just seeing that list. I don't know. Is the list like the back end? I don't understand.
Yeah, it's the back end. This is where we are storing our data, because you said you didn't join from but no worries. You can, when you see the recorded session of the last the recorded session, you will see how we started. But this is the back end, and it has these details. Okay.
Okay. But I think, is it possible for us to also have it on the app itself?
On the application?
Yes.
Of course, sure. Yeah, I agree with you. You can also have it, say, you might want to have it as,
yes, just
as
by
one
the
of
side.
the columns. Yeah, it's possible. All of these columns, the columns that we have here are not cast in stone. It's just what I feel that is important for me to display here. So it depends on your preference.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'll appreciate that those recordings, so that I'll be able to catch up.
No troubles. Like I said, there are some little things that we just need to tidy here. Like these fields are not compulsory, so it means that somebody can submit empty data, which is not ideal. So we need to. So of course we'll tidy that in the next class. All right. Next question.
David.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that response, Ibrahim. Okay.
Was anybody come? Let me
make you have a question. Your hand is up.
Yeah, thank you, Ibrahim, for the thorough session.
Thank you, sir.
Provided. So I want to ask, I can see, for the purpose of the new people joining, I can see that some of the process that has to do with approval did not come from Power Automate. It's coming from the form based on the additional fields that were added on the leave request list. So would there be any need to have a Power Automate with this, how far you've gone, or in the future with the application?
Hello, Ibrahim, you are muted if you are speaking.
Okay, Nebet, sorry, I didn't get that well. Yeah, you mentioned Power Automate, but the other part.
Okay, let me repeat. So, you added extra fields that has to do with the supervisor session to approve or reject the leave request submitted by a requester. So, and you approved or rejected within the application based on the expressions you've added, or you've added on the form. So I'm asking, with Power Automate, can Power Automate be incorporated to capture this approval process, or the approval process is just going to happen on the form itself for the future?
Okay, thank you for the question. I think I appreciate that question. Now, the reason why I had to do my approval here is I would have actually done it in Power Automate. Now, Power Automate gives us smart approval such that wherever you are on the go, you can approve, even though this also works that way. But that one allows you to approve within your mail body, the body of your mail. Once you see that request, there's an approve, there's a decline buttons within the mail body, and you can take action right there and then. Okay, but you can also do it within Power Automate. You can do it within Microsoft Teams. These are where you can actually take your actions. Microsoft has made it that easy. Now, but the downside of that is that, on this, we are saying that if you are rejecting, then there has to be a reason why you are rejecting. Now, in that approach, when you are rejecting, you might not, if you don't put comments, it's not compulsory. It's not, the comment feed is not compulsory for the reject case, which I think next week we also explore that. We'll see how that approval works. Okay, but that one is fantastic. I know for management, for those in management, they prefer it because they don't have time to start previewing form, opening one form. They just want to view at a glance and take their decision. So it's good for people in management. So we'll also explore it at the next session.
All right, so thank you very much. Okay, Emeka, your hand is up again.
Okay, this is my last question for today, in less than 1 minute. So for the purpose of those that are joining to read for and based on the application that is being built, in a situation where it's not someone's time to go for a leave and the person has an emergency exam that he or she wants to partake a staff, and the person needs just 1 day or 2 days to go write the exam. So the person will definitely provide an evidence of that exam, not just putting a purpose, for example. So is there a room for the person to attach a document or an evidence to say, okay, I need to for the supervisor to see this, all right, and be able to, as well in the future, open the attachment to verify and approve?
Okay, awesome. That's a great one. I know you're speaking from experience, massive years of experience, so I can understand. Okay, yeah. So that's why I said, yes, there's still so many things we need to tidy here. You have to just think about so many scenarios that you need to. So it's a valid case. Yes, you want to put an evidence to say, yes, this is what I'm going for. And there are also different leave types that we have not factored into this. We haven't factored in the fact that, yes, you have 20 days leave or vacation for the year. You've gone on 5, remain 15. You want to go more than that. These are some of the scenarios that we're still going to consider. At the point where you are launching this form, you are seeing it at your face that you only have 10 days left. So you cannot apply more than those 10 days. Okay, so these are all the scenarios that we're still going to look at. So I think that's much noted. And the next class, we should be able to also cover that. Thank you.
All right, so I think the last question I will take for now is from Olasukami. Please, could you do that in 30 seconds, a minute?
I think I'm just curious. This particular training, is it for somebody who has not really been in IT but want to move into IT?
Okay, that's your question, I guess.
Okay, I think Musin can also answer some of these questions, please. Right? Unless you want to push it to me, but yeah, you can.
Please go on for now.
Okay, all right. Yeah, well, I think I think they're quite. Babatunde is here, David is here. You guys should talk, right?
Okay, I'm not sure. I'm not sure David is here.
Okay.
I can't see David, but I think I can see Charles.
Oh yeah, I can. Okay. Good evening,
Charles,
guys. Should I quickly address this?
Yeah. Please go on.
All right. Thank you, guys. So to that question, I will put it to you this way. Power Automate. Let's put it this way. Power Platform is made up of 4 different applications. If you are the last session, you get to know about them, and it is a low-code, no-code alternative to developing application. Like these Power Apps today, you don't have to know programming before you can start building application here. So it is not for pro developers. If you are pro developers, you need to learn the language of the front end, the back end, choose your own stack and go that part. But here is for business people, who understand the challenge they are facing. And in Africa, we have most of our processes that are manual. Bringing that idea where your process is manual, then you have a tool that can help you to automate that and bridge that gap without you knowing how to write code. Imagine under 1 hour, we've been able to do this. Number one, a single person cannot do this in the traditional web or application development cycle. You need a team, you need infrastructure team, you need database, all these different professionals coming together and taking 2 months or a month to have their MVP. But an individual who is able to leverage on this app can actually build a solution in weeks, in days, like we've done in this whole session. So it is not for experienced or pro developers, but rather for people who are close to the business and who want to learn how to automate their processes, either by building an app or by building a workflow.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. I hope you're cleared now, Olasukami. You have a bit of
Yes.
clarity around that.
I'm
Interesting.
clear. I'll also like to have the link you talked about earlier.
I think that's on the
For the-
chat already. Developer account, right?
Okay. Yes.
Please check the chat box.
All right, thank you.
Okay, all right. So thank you very much. Yes, we have spent an hour already, and that's the target for this session. We will try as much as possible not to exceed what we have communicated to us that would be the duration of the session. So it's been a wonderful session today again, as it was last week. And we appreciate every one of us for taking out time to be here with us this evening. It's really our pleasure that we have great minds join us this evening to learn some of the possibilities of or within the Power Platform space. Thanks a lot, everybody, for joining us. But I will just plead with us that we try as much as possible. The recording will be made available to us. The recording for last week, hopefully we'll resend that for the benefit of those of us that were not around last week. So the recording will be available and of course for this session. So please, let's try as much as possible to return back to the recordings, refreshing our knowledge, go back to the steps and try our hands on it. That is how we will be able to cement all the entire learnings that we've been able to gather in the course of session. So thank you very much, everybody. And we shouldn't forget that this does not stop today.